Okay, folks, I'm just adjusting the camera a little bit. I wanted to do more of the widescreen, but apparently it won't go live unless you do it this way. So I apologize if you can't see on the periphery. I put a notification this morning to let everyone know that I would be on, so we'll see if anybody shows up. If you hear some whining in the background, that is Freya, my dog. She showed up in a previous video. She's a caissoned, so she, a lot of times on the weekend, she wants all of her daddy's attention. So if you hear that, then that's what's going on. So for those dog owners, if you hear her, she ate her dinner, she went out to use the bathroom. She is good, she just wants me to go and play with her, throw her ball, play with her toys with her, that sort of thing. So ignore the puppy in the kitchen. Those sounds are of a mighty beast wanting attention. Alright. Well, I hope that you all before I say that, we're on the precipice of the holiday season. Next week is Thanksgiving, next Thursday, and then we have Christmas and New Year's the months following. So I hope that however you celebrate the holiday season, I hope that you enjoy yourself. I have a friend who talks about wintering, and wintering is when during when it starts to get cold, and there's fall and winter. That's a time to kind of slow down, to try to rest. It's the yin part of our seasons, and in that way, let's try to, according to the wintering idea, let's try to take care of ourselves, try to regenerate, rejuvenate the same way that animals go into hibernation, and a lot of the vegetation and things of our world start to kind of die out. We too should start to relax, rest, and do that sort of thing. So consider getting into the wintering frame of mind. Let's see, we got one person. Hello, whoever you are. I can't really see the names at this point, but I'm glad that you came. As I always talk about in my videos, I recently released a Marie Laveau attunement to my Etsy attunement store. Also have High John the Conqueror and Apollo. So for those of y'all who don't know much about Marie Laveau, we're going to talk about her in this video. So she was a cool lady, to say the least. So if you are interested in energy work and attuning yourself to these energies that I mentioned, then I'll put a link in the description. You can check it out. It's really good to enhance your magic, influence the world, and even more than that, what is the opposite to wintering? Is it summer here down under? That's a good question. Summering, maybe? I don't know. I don't know if there is an opposite. See, there you go. That's what I warned you. There's that bark. That is Frey in the background wanting my attention. So, my beast in the kitchen. So summering, I'm just making up a word. I don't know if that's true. And that would be more like the opposite. Okay, let's go ahead and make this happen. Let's do this. Let's get busy. let's get things done, all that sort of thing. I imagine that would be the opposite of wintering. But, we're human beings. We have flaws, and there's a limit to what we can do. So, yep, a time of action. There's a limit to what we can do, and then there is when we run up against walls, it's time to back up. Or maybe if we're really good, we can, before we hit that wall, we can withdraw a little bit, take care of ourselves, and have more of a sustained mode of activity rather than going head on really quickly and burning ourselves out. I've always found that to be a good way of thinking about things. So like I was saying, we're on the precipice of the holiday season, and I hope that you enjoy your holidays. Lately, last few years, instead of Thanksgiving, some people are choosing Friendsgiving, and I'm actually going to my first Friendsgiving event tomorrow. So, and for whatever reason, there's certainly no judgment. Sometimes families don't get together on Thanksgiving. Other times, you really don't want to get together with your family. Maybe they don't get along, or there's those toxic type of people who you just don't want to get into the middle of the conflict, either active or passive fighting stuff that happens at times. It's almost like when you put people together, all their stuff comes out during Thanksgiving dinner. At least that's the thing that sometimes happens. I've noticed that it's not individual to one particular family, it happens to a lot of people, that dynamic. So I just want to kind of share something that I did recently. You're welcome to follow in my path if you like. There are times during my week when either I'm at work or anything that I start to carry some tension. Something that I've experienced during the week, something I felt, overheard. It could be anything. For people who are in New Age, occult, or other types of things, there's a fair portion of us that I guess you would consider them sensitive people, and I don't mean necessarily sensitive in a negative sense, but I mean sensitive almost like in a psychic sense. They kind of can easily take on energy of other people and even the world. And it's very easy to do that with the news, the media. So I tell people to very much so to, if that's how your temperament is, that severely limit the amount of media you consume as far as the news is concerned. Take in as little as you can to be informed, and at that point, let it go. Because I've found that the more that is consumed, for people, the crazier they can feel and get. And that's not a good way to, because you walk around and then your perception of the world will be a little off. So if you're naturally somebody who might have a mental health condition and that sort of thing. So anyway, what I was about to get into, occasionally I will start to take on some stress and some things going on, and I'll feel it in my body, and I won't necessarily know what it is, because you may be in a situation at work, someone tells you something, and you blow it off, you go ahead and go on with your day, and that's how you get through your day. But some of this stuff accumulates, right? And you may at the end of the week not feel so good, emotionally, psychologically. So what I do occasionally, and I do this also as part of my magical practice, and by the way, I'm not Catholic. I haven't been received any of the rites of the Catholic Church, but there is a Catholic church about 5 miles, and I will go into the church when it's dark, when they're not having any type of services, they're not having I'm feeling can be explained away in a lot of different ways. I think a lot of it has to do with, it could be like the thought forms of the people who go there. They're praying, they're connecting with God or higher power. People go there and they have this, they receiving emotional healing. There's a lot of positive energy there. So it's collectively by a mass. It's collected. It's almost like a mass thought form. The way I conceptualize it, I'll go there and I will kind of take it in, and all of the also the religious symbols around. And after a while, just sitting there, doing some breathing, things will start to melt away. The second part, the reason why I do this is because some of the entities that I work with are connected to the Catholic Church. St. Expedite, St. Cyprian, St. Jude. All of these are part of that tradition. So by you, or me, going to the church, sitting there and participating in a way with that tradition, you are becoming part of that current. And then therefore, I've noticed and I believe that it makes connecting with those entities that much stronger. So take that for what it's worth. I even, on my way out, first of all, you know, the way that the whole system is, it's very magical in a way. You have a priest who is ordained by a bishop, and they're able to do magical, in a way, magical type of things. What can they do? They can do exorcisms. They can rid people of evil spirits. They can bless things. They can make holy water. They can lead these other rituals like baptisms and all those sorts of things. And so there is a magic connected to this. That is not something to dismiss. So what I will do on my way out is I will get the holy water and I'll put it in my hands. And when you, because it is blessed water, and it is blessed by someone who is an authority or has been given the authority in order of this particular tradition to do these things. And when you find that when I put the holy water in my hands, that it is a very cleansing thing. Energetically, magically, because what do we have in our hands? Just like we have at least 7 chakras going through our body, we have chakras in our hands. So that this holy water, this water that's been blessed, goes in your hands, and it will kind of trickle through your energy body. So you know the feeling that I'm talking about. Good. And then I leave, and I feel much better than I did when I arrived. So that is kind of my practice that I do. And I'm glad that I kind of discovered that. So let's talk a little bit about, I guess, my videos that I've been kind of putting on YouTube, and hopefully you saw something with or not. And go back and take a look. The most recent one I did was on Marie Laveau. Now Marie Laveau was, she was born in 1801, and she died, I think, in 1880, I want to say. She was the voodoo queen of New Orleans. She had quite a reputation. She is somebody who you could approach for success. Sorry, thinking of somebody else. By the way, if you want to know what a specific a spirit can do, look at their stories, look at the legends, look at all of that, and you'll be able to tell. She is known for cursing work, for pretty much anything. Love, financial, fortune telling, if you want to get better at divination. She was a big somebody who did fortune telling in New Orleans, and not only did she do all that, she was someone highly skilled, quite a reputation, was well sought after. Also, if you're somebody who wants to try to make extra money doing metaphysical, occult types of things, that would be a spirit to petition. She is buried in St. Louis Cemetery number 1. People go there, hundreds of thousands, not millions, that visited her grave. It's quite a thing. People go and will make these marks, these X's, on her grave stone, and then basically tell her what their wish is. But she was somebody who she was loved by many, and there was some places that are now real popular in the world just because of her, like Congress Square by St. John, because she would lead voodoo ceremonies in those areas. But even more than the occult aspect of everything, she was a really good person. She did a lot of work for the needy, the homeless. She went and ministered to prisons. She was also a devout Catholic, so she started, it's where you start to see people, from her, people using more of a little bit of Catholicism and a little bit of the magic of the voodoo, and doing some of the work that you kind of see today. So that was one video. Another video that I did, and this is one of my favorites, because this is one of my favorite series. I did one on the old Twilight Zone series. So that, I believe that came out between 1959 and maybe 1963. I think it ran 4 seasons. But I still love that show. I still watch it because it is full of allegories and parables, essentially teaching tales for adults regarding these stories and these characters who get in these situations, and sometimes they realize that what they got was not what they expected. Now, when we talk about the term Twilight Zone, I was thinking about this the other day. So what is Twilight? It's not a bad vampire movie, series of vampire movies, really. The Twilight is near daybreak, in between the time that it's still dark and not completely light. So it's that in between time. It's kind of like a borderland between the light of the day and the night. And you see this type of idea of in the in-between, and when you look at magic and religions and things like that, when they talk about, the crossroads, where that is the same sort of thing. People bury their ritual items after they're done at the crossroads. Certain spirits are said to be at crossroads if you want to petition them. And I believe Robert Johnson, singer who supposedly went to the crossroads and asked the devil to teach him the guitar. Yeah, it's another story. crossroads or these in-between things in Twilight is are magical. So when they come up with that term, the Twilight Zone, what they're talking about is that space or that area of the in-between, of between the real and the unreal. And you'll start to see that in the episodes because there will be this supernatural flavor to it, where you're dealing with real life, but there's also something that is not quite real life that kind of impresses itself on physical reality. Kind of where the universe acts differently. Being in Australia, would I have to be initiated voodoo to ask for help? There are certain spirits that are kind of on the periphery. You know, even though Marie Laveau was a human, and then she died, and she became, now she's considered, depending on the tradition, a spirit ancestor in certain traditions. Others consider her Laveau, which is being like a voodoo spirit. She can be communicated. The short answer is that she can be communicated without the initiation. Also, you can communicate with Papa Legba, another voodoo spirit, who is the gatekeeper to the other voodoo spirits. So you can kind of get on the edge of things, but I wouldn't go too far deeply into that middle without some type of initiation training type of thing. So I hope that answered your question. So I outlined some episodes in that particular video, and by the way, Spike was asking me where they were. Well, they're in. You watch it for free, Amazon Video, Freevee, and Pluto TV. Now, and they were also asking, okay, so which episodes or seasons? I believe the ones that I outlined in that video were the first two, and I gave the titles. I can't remember the titles off the top of my head because I don't tend to remember titles of episodes and TV. So I'll give a quick bit so as not to give anything away. So one of the ones, the Twilight Zone that I mentioned, because part of Twilight Zone is sci-fi, so they do things like robots, outer space, time travel type of things, and then there's other episodes that deal with like spirits and magic, which is more what I was focusing on in that video. So there was one episode that dealt with a little girl who was visiting an adult, and the adult was like, this is like a girl came through and started talking with her, and the girl in the video, I mean the episode was kind of like a little sarcastic, especially to like a stranger, and she was like, this is kind of a creepy little girl, and she knows things, and I don't know how she knows these things. The girl is trying to get the woman to remember a certain something, and that certain something is going to help her protect her. How does this girl know this about the lady who she's never met? Watch and find out. The other one I like is a man has fallen in love with a woman who will not give him the time of day. He came across a stranger in the street, and the stranger overheard a conversation with him on the phone. He was like, here, you need to see this person. You can help. Gave him a card. The guy went to this little man in the library, and the guy said, I can help you, but there's a price, and you might really need to rethink this. And it kind of goes from there. The other other one that I mentioned is a little boy living in a family with his grandma. And grandma, they're very close. He seems closer than his parents. But something happens to the grandma, and that connection lasts into the afterlife. And some things almost happen. So those are a few of the episodes that I wanted to mention. They're very good, but there are plenty of other ones, spirit-related episodes. There's one regarding the Civil War, and people passing in front of a house trying to go back home. And I checked that one too. No problem. Next video, Anima Sola. That's the video. It means lonely soul. So who is Anima Sola? You can find candles of Anima Sola, and there are a couple different stories. Anima Sola, she's used in magic. She is the image that you see on the candles and even the prayer cards is that she has her hands bound up in chains, and she is in purgatory, and it shows the flames behind her. So how did she get in purgatory? So one story is that she was present during the crucifixion of Jesus. She was like a servant, and she gave water to each of the two thieves on either side of him, but she didn't like Jesus, so she didn't give him water. Okay, so she lived out her life, and people who are in purgatory, it's not a temporary purgatory. Purgatory is supposed to be forever. So it's like a light hell type of situation. Second one, this is the one that is responsible for the magical reputation of Anima Sola, and that is she was in an illicit relationship. There isn't a lot of details about what was happening, whether this was a married man or something was happening that shouldn't have happened or was inappropriate. And as a result of that, when she died, she went into purgatory. And that I was talking with I have a priest friend, who's been in the priesthood for a while, Catholic priest. He was telling me that the flames that her people in purgatory are like the intensity of their own, how do you describe it? Like their own emotional energy, their own passion. Okay, I'll try to speak up a little bit. Or maybe I'll try to get a little closer if I can. So, their own emotional passion, their own emotional energy, that it isn't like a hellfire type of fire. It is more within them. And he did not hear of Anima Sola. I don't think that, I think it's popular in certain countries, but maybe not so much in the United States. I see some of the candles with a lot of Spanish on them, Spanish language. So it could be, part of those parts of the world. So when people are using or maybe even trying to contact High John the Conqueror, they're doing it for perseverance, success, with personal power. It can pretty much be used for anything. Kind of like an all-purpose type of spirit. And people use the root the same way. People use the root a lot of times. And I believe that you read a story about Marie Laveau with that High John the Conqueror root. Keeping it in their pocket or maybe putting it somewhere the judge was sitting to get a favorable outcome for the person that she because she did a lot of consultations with people and work for them and divination. All right, folks, I've been talking longer than I expected. Does anybody have any questions about the videos or anything? Maybe we can give you a snapshot of all of that. So feel free to go and look at those again. I'm thinking about doing a second video on Marie Laveau and maybe putting it on my Patreon. I feel a little bit of a connection to Marie Laveau. I think it's because we're born in the same area of New Orleans. And she, with all of her work that she's done during her life, with the poor and that sort of thing, I've done a lot of that type of work too. In fact, actually, there's something to show you before I forget. I would have got this actually on the French Quarter, which is where Marie Laveau lived. So you can see this. Show this in the camera. This is Marie Laveau statue that I acquired. She has, the skull there. She also is associated with certain animals, snake and black cats. So if you were to create an altar or something, wanting to contact her, that would be something to Man, I don't know why y'all can't hear it. I will try to see if I can put subtitles. I've never done that before, but I probably can do some research. Huh. Okay. And I got this in New Orleans too. This is a Mardi Gras bead with a picture of her grave. Now in New Orleans, a lot of times the graves are like above ground. Like you can see this, that's because of the flooding in New Orleans. Okay. Thanks for letting me know that. I have no idea. Oh, I think we know. Okay. I'm going to do something real quick. Let me know if it changes things, okay? Give me a second, I'll let you know. So if this is what it is, taught me something on it, not to do something. Okay, so now you can't see me, but is the sound any better? I'm going to turn on the light. Is the sound any better? GK, I don't know if you can hear me. Is the sound any better? Okay. So thanks for letting me know that. What I was doing is that I had my phone on the edge of my laptop. That laptop, the fan inside was going. So when you said it sounded like a storm, that's what made me think of that. So I apologize in advance for this less than ideal experience with my audio. I'm probably still going to post it. Hopefully, you can hear some of it, but I will be sure not to do that next time. Okay. All right. Uh, so you all have a good Thanksgiving, Friendsgiving, Christmas, Yule, New Year's, whatever it is you all celebrate, and I will talk to you all in a future video. Thanks. Bye.